DC's League of Super Pets came out and I haven't heard a single thing about it. Like, I haven't even seen reviews or anything. It doesn't seem like anyone gave an ass's rat about it. Which is strange because this movie was pretty much built to make millions. And it did, but how could it not when it has a voice acting cast stacked with actors like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Kate McKinnon, John Krasinski, and Keanu Reeves? I personally haven't seen it yet. I only go to theaters for stuff I'm dying to see because I like to watch stuff at home so the subtitles can keep my ADD brain on track. So I was waiting for the HBO Max release. Hey, it's me but editing. It looks like right after I finished writing that script that Super Pets is now on HBO Max. The script's already written. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen. But if you have an 8-year-old, you've probably already seen it. About 45 times. Or maybe you haven't. Doesn't really matter, because the movie isn't exactly our topic of discussion today. The important topic of today is licensed video games, which is basically all I talk about on this show. Superhero movies have had game adaptations for years. Some of them hit a god-tier level, being the greatest games ever released, and the rest are not Spider-Man the movie game. It's been like 3 weeks since I made that joke, so with the obligation of getting that joke in out of the way, let's see how good a job they did turning Super Pets into a game with DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Crypto and Ace. Unless you've played a lot of licensed garbage, you've probably never heard of the developer or the publisher behind Crypto and Ace. The game was developed by PHL Collective, the developers of the Bad Ben 10 games and the Addams Family Mansion Mayhem, Exhibit A, and was published by Outright Games, who I also hadn't heard about before this, but after some research I've realized this kind of licensed nightmare is their bread and butter. Because they've published a lot of licensed garbage kid games such as Race with Ryan, Jumanji the video game, and Ice Age Scrat's Nutty Adventure, with a few standout titles thrown in there like My Friend Peppa Pig and Transformers Battlegrounds. When it comes to the game, where do I begin? I guess I could start with the level selection screen because that's where the game decides to start too. No cutscenes or anything, which really threw me off. Even Dora's Journey to the Purple Planet had cutscenes. They look horrifying, but it does have them. What's wrong? Really excited for tonight's nightmares. There actually isn't a cutscene through the entire game. The game is based on a movie, so they have an hour and 45 minutes worth of cutscenes they didn't even have to make. But instead they decided to go the Nintendo route and throw some text boxes on the bottom of the screen. But they did decide to spring for some voice actors to go along with those text boxes. They got Mark Maron to return to voice the big bad of the game, Lex Luthor. But that's about it for big-name celebrities.
Oh, great. It's the flea bags. Come on, Cat. There's lots of room down at my wonderful LexCorp Zoo.
Really putting your all into that one, huh, Mark? Obviously, they weren't going to get Dwayne the Pet Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart on board for this. I mean, the budget for this game probably couldn't even afford The Rock's lunch. So Crypto and Ace are voiced by some sound-alikes. Crypto's voice actor really doesn't sound anything like Dwayne Wears Crocs Johnson.
Another evil robot down!
But the Ace actor is surprisingly really close to Kevin Hart. It's like just off enough that you can tell it's not Kevin Hart.
I can destroy Lexbots all day.
Kevin Hart, more like Kevin Sharp. The next thing I notice is they went for the cursor on console menu style. Stop. Stop doing that. Look how easy this is. Why make it do this? Anyway, the thing that really confuses me with the menu, other than the fact that there isn't one, it's just a map used as a level select screen. But selections are made by holding a button instead of just tapping it. Countless times I would hit the button, look away at my phone or dog, and then realize I was still in the menu. At this point, I should probably start talking about the actual game. That's why you're here, unless you came here for my stunning good looks and witty dialogue. If that's the case, you came to the wrong place. At the start of each level, you're given the option to pick between playing as Crypto or Ace. I went with Crypto to start out, because as a kid I really liked Crypto the Superdog cartoon. That's the only reason. And I've never made any other life choices based off of that. Not even one.
Shelby? Are you Crypto the Superdog?
Aw man, I'm Crypto Bro, the super dog. You should really get in on Bitcoin and Ethereum, trust me, man. The security is like outrageous thanks to the blockchain technology. It's so hard to hack, like unless someone had the key to your... The general gameplay of Super Pets is simple. It's a kid's game. It should be simple. But it's like a little too simple. The game is your basic rail shooter, kind of mixed with an endless runner. I'm sure there's a genre or subcategory for this kind of game, but I explained it well enough. I did the rest of the research for this video. You can do a little bit of the legwork here. So like I said, it's a rail shooting endless runner thing. You start the mission flying, dodging enemies and objects, and shooting down various types of Lex bots. I guess I should mention in the little bit of story we do get from those text boxes, the big bad of this game is Superman's archenemy Lex Luthor, the man who has become president, murdered millions, destroyed planets, and now is a pet napper. Okay? Yes, Lex Luthor is the bad guy for this adventure because he steals people's pets, so these dogs have to, kill him? I don't know. The game's based on a movie. I haven't seen the movie. We've already been over that. So like I said, you fly and shoot, and that's basically it. But there's more to talk about here. You run into stuff, or get shot too much, you lose. That's pretty basic. But they also have balloon Lex bots. Okay. You can shoot for extra points, along with these floating pods to collect containing animals that Lex petnapped. Outside of that, it's really just shooting and moving around and shooting some more, with some slight variations on shooting and special attacks depending on which dog you play as. I ended up playing more as Ace because I like it special. There really isn't a difference other than that. The last thing about the gameplay that drove me absolutely bonkers for the first 6 levels or so, and let me preface this by saying that this is a problem that most likely only I had. Each level will have these small QTE segments you can do by flying into your selected dog symbol. Once you fly into it, your dog will fly down to the ground and charge at a row of robots where you're supposed to hit the corresponding button shown on screen. How did I fail this so many times? Well, I didn't realize these are arrow keys. You know, the arrow buttons, not the face buttons that I was continually trying to hit, or the stick that I've been flying with the entire game. It has to be the arrow keys, and my brain must have forgotten these buttons exist entirely, because I was baffled every time I got to one of these. But when I finally figured it out, I realized you get more health for each one of the Lex spots you smash into. And that's really it for the gameplay. You work through each of these levels to make each location safe before you move on to the next one, unlocking a support pet to go with each area. Each one of these support pets allows you to use a different ability. I really only use the first one that adds a Green Lantern clone of you next to you to double the amount of shots you fire. I think one gives you a shield and the other one is Flash's pet, so he probably runs fast, but not fast enough every year for like 9 years till the CW lets you out of your contract. All of these pets and the pets you play as can be upgraded with points earned by finishing each level, or by getting strays adopted. Do you remember that little anecdote earlier about collecting the pets around each level? Yeah, you don't return those to their homes. If you haven't noticed, there's a little adoption center icon in the bottom left of the map. In the adoption center, for every animal collected in the levels, you'll be given a card for that animal. Each card has information on the animal, and you'll have to feed it and give it toys based on the information on the card to make it happy. Once the animal is happy, you'll have the goal of matching it with an adopter. And you do this for extra upgrade points. But none of those things matter because you can just keep throwing food and toys at the animal and pair them up with the exact opposite owner. It doesn't matter at all, it still moves the bar and you get the upgrade points. And like halfway through the second location I had maxed out the upgrade bar, so it really didn't matter because after that you get nothing from it. Outside the joy of stealing a pet from one owner and giving it to another. So, Adventures of Crypto and Ace. It's not great, it's alright, it's not terrible. It's a quick achievement completion, which we've already established makes it an okay game in my book. Or my video. It's incredibly repetitive. I was tired of it well before halfway through. This is a kid's game, so I can't really rip into it. It does its job. It will entertain your kid for a couple hours after they watch the movie 40 times. There's not really a lot of difficulty to it, except for the first boss. That boss is unreasonably difficult. I don't know why, but it took me like 6 tries to finally beat it. Why? Like I said, the game's not great. It's not terrible. But compared to my childhood movie tie-in games like Spider-Man 2, Scarface, Lord of the Rings games, and the dozens of other tie-in games that were great, there was a lot of bad ones. But they all had at least a little bit of work put into them. Most modern day tie-in games end up being these short, simple little mobile titles, and this game would make a lot of sense as a mobile title. I actually assumed this game was a port of a mobile game, and when looking for it on the App Store, I found one mobile version of Super Pets. So let's check that out real quick. Alright, give me the close-up. Wait. Take it back a minute. Okay, me, bring it back. Alright, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav. You're out here murdering Cartoon Network and running HBO Max into the ground when there's garbage like this being made with your properties. Grow up, David Zaslav. Grow up. Well, I have verbally assaulted a CEO of a major corporation, shot my own dog, and somehow managed to fit in information about a mediocre kids game. Somewhere in there. So if you enjoyed that incoherent rambling, subscribe. If you don't, I'll crawl out from under your bed while you're asleep and I'll do it for you. And I'll leave your phone unplugged so it has like 10% to start your workday. Oh, and go play Super Pets if you want, I guess. I don't know.
You're right. I've gotta fight the giggles. No more silliness for me. Whoops! Sorry.